Maybe watch video about pirates in Game of Thrones to understand lore more. Wait, what?
Pirates in this story aren't anything like the Straw Hat Pirates of One Piece. They're some of the most dangerous criminals in Game of Thrones, or the Song of Ice and Fire world.
That's me!
Thank you to the sponsor of this video,
Rich Wallet,
best wallet out there.
I like Rich Wallet, I actually use it every day. It's true story, I swear to God.
Modern minimal wallet that you don't have to sit on. It fits right in your front pocket. And use my code, you know they're a quality build. As for the pirates, there's no National Guard out there to save you in the open bodies of water. Rivers, lakes, seas, islands, whatever it is, they may be lurking. If your goods aren't properly guarded, you're done for out there. And goods can mean people too. Pirates happily take on the side gig of slavers. But so far in the current story and lore, they all seem to be more
I fucking love Game of Thrones. Look how epic. Oh, wow.
Centered around specific locations on the map, as opposed to being scattered around. The Stepstones, which is this area of unclaimed land between Westeros and Essos. It's a bunch of islands with no true ruler, making it a haven for pirates to live without fear of capture.
That's us!
Then there's Dagger Lake, right at the heart of Essos.
Dagger Lake. There's a pirate here? That's funny. There's a pirate here. But not in this start. I'm not gonna play him, but interesting. Interesting. Wow. That's cool. I didn't know that.
And finally, the Basilisk Isles. Off the
That's
coast
the
of
ones
the
we're always
Jurassic
raiding.
Park-like continent, called Southerios, are some islands that were once colonized like thousands of years in the past.
But I'm gonna stay on the Stepstones. I like him too much.
Are similar to the Stepstones.
I mean, we could play the Basilisk Isles and unite Sotorios. It's kind of fucked. Thank you,
George
Nefos.
Martin commonly refers to the pirates as corsairs. I don't know the difference in definition.
Man, we kind of could play the Basilisk Isles and take South America.
Does sound older than clear, so maybe to match the setting of the primitive world. The term Corsair Kings is brought up a few times, especially within the Basilisk Isles. Since the colonies of the past have long since inhabited this area, the pirates have gotten so comfy that they've established towns, and each island can have its own...
This entire area is like the Caribbean and the Pirate Age. All the pirates, they rule all of the shit, man.
...at any given time. But life in this part of the world is far more difficult and violent, so the length of their reign is likely limited. Just take a look at the name of the islands here. Axe Isle, Skull Isle, Isle of Tears, Howling Mountain, Isle of Flies, and the Isle of Toads. Doesn't sound fun. I know toads don't sound all that intimidating.
You can actually play down there if you want.
Of people just went and
you can actually play down there.
Some of the pirates have started a tradition of delivering skulls to their dark god. And in other locations, slave markets are propped up. A couple hundred years before the start of the story, an epidemic called the Red Death ravaged through the Basilisk Isles.
It's crazy how everything's actually based on real lore, man.
Wiped out. If you want a glimpse of this nightmare region, the people here died screaming, bleeding copiously from every orifice. Their skin.
That's why the civilized people never go to the southern continent. There's so much diseases there, they always just all die.
Pirates didn't always thrive in this universe. It was only after the Valyrians and all their dragons blew up on Valyria that gave them free reign. The Valyrians dominated this world, particularly Essos. It would only take an instant for a dragon rider to clear out a pirate cove or a ship.
That's true.
The Red Death was actually
one dragon
what allowed
and all the pirates are gone, man.
To have a vacant lair. No one wanted to claim this land after what happened here, and for a century, no one did. Those few pirates who were ballsy enough to chance it here still had to deal with the animals this place is named after. Basilisks are these venomous reptile beasts that you don't want to come across, and come in various sizes. And while the basilisks are pretty bad, it's nothing compared to mainland Southerios, which is just all these things ramped up. There are a group of primitive people that inhabit this continent, but it seems like it isn't even worth kidnapping all these defenseless people for the basilisk corsairs. You don't want to come back with a new contagious disease on your crew. A lot of these pirates...
So yeah, George R. Martin has kind of done South America, but no one can ever go there, because you always get killed by monsters, pirates, dragons, or diseases.
Enslavers would rather sail over to Nath to enslave the most peaceful people in this world. But they have nature.
Nath is the most...
The people of Nath don't even fight back. But the butterflies on the island...
They have big bugging booties, man. Nath is the most peaceful place in Game of Thrones.
Spread a contagious disease to outsiders that quickly and painfully kills them. The locals are immune, so the pirates have to move fast, and at night, nothing will stop these outlaws, even when some of the more wealthy cities in Essos, like Volantis, sends over a fleet to take care of the growing pirate layers in the Basilisk Isles. They just keep on pirating. All the attempts to shut them down have been in vain. Some have gotten so powerful and influential that pirate families have formed. The most notable being the Sand family. That name sounds familiar. It's because this cool guy over here.
One day I would even like to play
Ibn,
Ibn, which is the Vikings in Game of Thrones.
Sand
And they have pet ice bears and they have pet whales and shit. It's so sick.
Interestingly decided to adapt him as a black character.
Can they raid now? Final test, final test. I'm so interested, man.
You're a smuggler. Sevens of darkness. I'm thinking Dragonstone is a good place for us to avoid.
This guy is
in
the
books,
materials.
The Sands descend from Lys, some of the palest characters around. But the story is definitely lacking in diversity, so some changes.
Even it's really boring to play though, I guess, because you have no one to attack,
the first Sand pirate lords was actually hired to clear out the Basilisk Isles with a fleet, but decided to crown himself
CK is a bit
as
fucked.
King of the Basilisk Isles.
Totally throwing away.
Reigned for 30
I need
years,
to play better.
A very long time.
Wuhan.
But for the most part, the Sands sit close to Lys. Over here, they can easily sail to the Stepstones. What was once a natural land bridge between Westeros and Essos has been a battleground between the two major continents over territory, while the pirates neutrally attack both sides. So many merchant ships sail back and forth through here, which is just easy pickings for the pirates, at times even attacking the coasts. Some women have even gotten into the action. There's been a pirate queen called the Old Mother here. Over at Essos, Dagger Lake is home to Lady Korra's pirate crew. Everyone on board is apparently a beautiful young maid, and they geld every man they capture. When Tyrion has to sail through the Rhoyne in the books in order to sneak his way to Daenerys, he gets some insight on the pirates of Dagger Lake. The Rhoyne, which is the river that flows into this lake, is the most prominent river in Essos, and an old civilization surrounded their culture around this river.
The Rhoyne,
they were all wiped out by the Valyrian Dragon Lords, so now it's just an empty, desolate place. Dagger Lake has a bunch of small islands in it, where pirates have made their lairs, hiding away in the caves. Lady Korra is just one to look out for. Tyrion is told by one of his traveling pals, Urho the Unwashed is the worst of them, Hollin confided. His stench alone is enough to kill a man. We don't get to see
only
these
sexy girls there, and they will fucking fuck you and then kill you?
Probably never will, because this part of the world is
Dagger Lake, the best way to die in Game of
Thrones. There are other locations where pirates have popped up. Quentin Martell's ship was ambushed before he even left the docks in the disputed lands. In the past, the Three Sisters, a small trio of islands in Westeros, just north of the Vale and south of the North, were actually ruled by pirate kings.
What?
After constantly invading...
The Three Sisters were ruled by pirates? My ass. What?
The North finally retaliated with full force 2,000 years ago in an event called the Rape of the Three Sisters and put an end to their pirating ways. There's a few mentions of Carthene pirates with some power, and the ultimate pirate man himself, Euron Greyjoy, is quickly becoming a major player in the story.
Yeah, Euron is the greatest pirate man. His ship was called the Silence, right? Conor McGregor was about to play one of his pirates, but then didn't sign a contract. The Three Sisters used to be pirates? My ass, but not in the smart. That's too heavy, man. Oh, the Three Sisters don't even... No, the Three Sisters is here. That's the Three Sisters, right? Yeah, that's the Three Sisters. But yeah, they're not pirates. That's thousands of years ago. Yeah, they're not pirates. The Three Sisters used to be pirates. Epic, right, guys?
You guys give a shit? He got an eye patch without any explanation as to why as of yet, so you know he's a serious pirate captain. His brother, Victarion Greyjoy, does have an injured hand, so maybe a hook is also in store for us. But seriously, the Greyjoys and the rest of the Ironborn are just straight up pirates who call themselves nobles. The entire culture on the Iron Islands is based upon raiding people, not all that different from the Corsairs of the story.
Enjoy risky things, don't you? Life is boring. You know, boring.
This guy's gonna be so much more important in the books. In the TV show, he was so useless, man.
Hope you guys enjoyed this more obscure topic.
The side books are so sick.
In Season 6 of Game of Thrones,
I don't know if we have time right now. I think we have some time.
Arya says she wants to go west of Westeros to see the
until the game starts. This is so epic, man.
West of Westeros is where all...
In a weird way, the side stories of Game of Thrones are better than the real story.
Maps stop. No one knows what's beyond
the Sunset Sea. It's like the Atlantic Ocean.
To find out. One of Arya's ancestors, Brandon the Shipwright, sailed west across the Sunset Sea.
I didn't know that.
And he was never seen again.
Yeah, they're all never seen again.
His tomb in Winterfell is empty. Some crazy Ironborn on the island of Lonely Light believe there's a paradise in the west, a land without winter or want, but all they've ever found is boundless grey sea. One of Daenerys' ancestors, Queen
Yeah,
Rhaenys
that's the girl.
Targaryen,
She goes.
plans
She's
to
the
fly
first.
her dragon across the sea.
Oh no, I remember she flies her dragon to the west, and at one point the dragon is so exhausted they have to fly back.
But she and her dragon died before she could try.
Ah, she never tried.
So the Sunset Sea is a mystery, but there's one person who went further
That's Aegon's
west
wife. Yeah,
than
yeah, true.
anyone else.
Rhaenys. With Doc's sister.
250 years ago, Alyssa
That's the girl
was
I mean.
the daughter of the Lord of Fair Isle, an island off the Westerlands by the Sunset Sea. Alyssa was kind of like Arya, a rebellious,
They're like Ragnar Lothbrok. They want to know what's in the
girl.
west. It's so cool,
She was
man.
an archer and a singer, loved horses and dogs, but her great love was sailing. She spent most of her childhood on ships. As a teenager, she sailed her own boat, voyaging north to Bear Island and south to the Arbor.
That must
But
be
her
so
dream
cool,
was to
man.
sail
If I
west
would live in Game
and
of Thrones, I
find
would like to live on the
strange
west coast.
lands beyond
The Ironborn
Sunset Sea.
always come to fuck you, right? You gotta be
Alyssa's
careful.
brother, Andrew, married Rhaena Targaryen, a widowed queen of two different kings. It
These
was
Targaryens, man, look at that. What the fuck?
weird that a queen would
This guy
marry
has
into a
this girl has
minor noble
OnlyFans?
family like the farmers.
The Arbor's the best
And
place, yeah.
Andrew was a pretty
The Arbor is kind of
unimpressive
like
husband.
The Witcher Blood and
Rhaena
Wine. They
didn't
just have
seem
wine
that
gons
into it.
everywhere and everybody's
She was
rich.
closer with Alyssa. It's hinted that Rhaena was gay, and that
Yes,
she and Alyssa
they were
in
lesbians.
love. So, for a year, Rhaena and Alyssa and friends lived on Fair Isle. They were the center of court life and went on joyrides on Rhaena's dragon.
I remember listening to her story. I
But the
forgot
Lord
most
of
of it.
Fair
though.
Isle got sick of Rhaena dominating his island and of her dragon eating his sheep, so he asked her to leave. He wanted Alyssa to stay and get married, but like Arya, Alyssa didn't want to marry some lord.
Kind of
so
Arya
she
is
left
based on
home
Alyssa
with
Farman, if you
Rhaena.
think about it.
For a month, they mooched off the Lannisters at Casterly Rock and enjoyed the hospitality of the wealthiest house in Westeros. But it turned out, shockingly, that the Lannisters were scheming, so Rhaena and co
No.
left the Rock and toured the Westerlands and
No
Riverlands
shit.
for a while. As the young daughter of a minor noble family, Alyssa got to travel
What a
across
surprise.
Westeros with her love, the Dragon Queen. But eventually, Rhaena settled on Dragonstone, the Targaryen island, and Alyssa wasn't happy there. She wanted to build a ship and return to her wide western seas. Rhaena refused, and their relationship broke down. So Alyssa left Dragonstone, and on her way out, she stole 3 of Rhaena's dragon eggs.
Oh, and it shows you how everything in Game of Thrones is connected. That is the 3 dragon eggs that Daenerys Targaryen gets later. This is the 3 dragons of the TV show. Everything is connected, man. It's so cool.
Alyssa went to Pentos
It's so
and
clever.
Braavos and sold the eggs to the Sea Lord of Braavos. She used the money to build
Sun
the
Chaser,
ship
the best
of
ship
her
in the world.
dreams, the Sun Chaser, designed for deep waters and long voyages. Alyssa planned to sail west. The Targaryens, meanwhile, lost their shit. The theft of their eggs meant that someone
yeah.
outside their family could get dragons, which is like someone outside your country getting nukes. They hope that without the heat of Dragonstone, their eggs will turn to stone. That way, some spicemonger in Pentos will only have 3 very costly stones.
That she was
Hundreds
right
of
with.
years later, in Book 1 of Game of Thrones, Illyrio Mopatis, a cheesemonger of Pentos, gives Daenerys 3 dragon eggs, which he says have turned to stone.
That is the eggs from 300 years ago, man.
In Pentos.
Everything
The
is connected.
language
It's
is
so
the
sick.
Same, hinting that Dany's eggs are the same eggs
They
that
are,
Alyssa
man, come
stole
on.
hundreds of years ago. Daenerys' whole story.
How George R.
might
Martin
not
makes
have
all these
happened if it
connections is
weren't
so
for Alyssa
fucking crazy.
Farman. But author George Martin does say that this is meant to be ambiguous, not certain. But Alyssa built her ship, the Sun Chaser, and from Braavos she sailed down the narrow sea, dodging pirates, went around
you have to
Dawn,
dodge a lot of pirates
and
there,
came
jeez.
to Old Town, the city of the Citadel and the High Tower. Alyssa knew that the Targaryens were hunting her for their eggs, but she needed a crew, people who believed in her mission to find new lands in the West. Which was difficult, because many people believe that the world just ends in the West, with walls of fire and boiling seas.
The flat earthers.
When
When is this game starting,
But
man?
the Maesters and
Here's Ace loading
author
game.
George Martin say that the world of Game of Thrones is round, like ours. So the
It's
West
confirmed, the
must
world is
eventually
round.
connect to the far east, to the lands of Yeti and Ashai. A western trade route to these
You think
places
George R.
would be
Martin will ever
worth a
draw the
fortune
whole
in
planet before he
silks and
dies? Be
spices.
so- or like it's
Alyssa's
hidden?
dream was bigger
Here we go.
than
The 5 forts. Look at that. The 5 forts. Which is suggesting that they had the long night also in Asia, man.
She believed that the world was far larger and far stranger than the Maesters imagine. She envisioned new
Fire and Blood is the book that tells you all this.
In between Westeros and Essos, with sundering rivers and plains, green islands, strange beasts, and golden cities beneath strange
And I think they're making a TV show about this shit,
Westeros
right?
is kind of like Britain. Essos is like Europe and Asia, and Sothorios like Africa. So maybe there's a continent
It's all based on the real world.
Like
So there's America, kinda, the new world.
As she looked for a crew, Eustace and Norman Hightower came to question her, but Alyssa convinced them to join her mission, adding their ships to hers.
100
she gathered
speech.
a crew, and just as the Targaryens were closing in, Alyssa left Old Town with 3 ships and sailed west. 3 years later, 1 ship returned. Eustace and his ship came ragged and exhausted back to Old Town, and Eustace told the story of Alyssa's voyage. He said that at first it was smooth sailing, but a month in they were hit by storms. Norman's ship was struck by lightning and sank. Some sailors said they saw a kraken. But Alyssa and Eustace's ships survived, and they found land, 3 small islands, farther to the west than any known land. Alyssa named the islands Aegon, Visenya, and Rhaenys. So Rhaenys Targaryen, who died before she got to fly west, had an island named for her.
Fucking so good, man.
Sunset Sea. Alyssa explored
It's like the Caribbean, yeah, in a way, yeah.
New spices, pink fruits, and huge grey lizards.
You have to remember, man, George R. Martin bases everything on the real world. This has to be like the Caribbean. There is an America on Game of Thrones,
Alyssa
man.
wanted to sail further west to discover more new land, but Eustace and his crew were scared and turned back home. Eustace spent a year stuck on Sothorios, and his crew almost all died, but some Summer Islanders helped them back to Old Town. Go watch our video about Sothorios in the east. As for Alyssa, she vanished to the west, still searching for lands beyond the Sunset Sea. She was never seen again.
It's like Indonesia?
Except, decades later, a famous mariner called Corlys Velaryon visited Asshai in the far, far east. And there, he glimpsed an old and weathered ship that he said could only have been Sunchaser.
Isn't that fucking
Alyssa's
epic, man?
Ship. So maybe Alyssa made
She went around the fucking
way
world, man.
across the world. She could have seen new lands and crossed the Americas before arriving at Asshai from the east. And one theory goes further. In Book 2, Daenerys meets Quaithe, a Shadowbinder from Asshai, and Quaithe says to go north you must journey south, to reach the west you must go east, just like Alyssa goes west to reach the east. So some fans speculate that Quaithe is Alyssa, that she learned magic in Asshai
that's a bit far-fetched.
Like Melisandre of Asshai lengthens her life.
That's a bit far.
Maybe the reason why Quaithe Alyssa helps Daenerys is because she reminds her of Rhaena, the dragon queen
That's a bit
who Alyssa
far-fetched.
once loved. The
Alyssa
whole
will have
reason
blue
why
eyes and
Quaithe
shit
comes to Dany in the
from
first place
Cassidy Rock.
is to see her dragons, the dragons that hatched from the eggs that Alyssa stole. So this is just speculation, but it's possible.
But that's
Alyssa
what makes
Farman
Game of Thrones so
still
beautiful,
lives
man. All
as a
these fucking side stories are so
250-year-old
sick.
magician
You
with
don't
a
have them in the
cool
TV
mask
show,
and a
really.
love for
There's no space for them.
It's also possible that Alyssa just died at sea or on some unknown land. But what we do know is that Alyssa rebelled against her family and loved a dragon queen. She traveled across Westeros and beyond, following a dream to see.
And there's so many side stories, guys, man. They're so cool.
And maybe
I would love to show you
Arya
this one.
could
23
do the
minutes though.
same. Like Alyssa, she could reject.
Where he talks about strange
Most of
places.
Game of
So fucking cool, dude. We still have in America, man. God damn it.
Thrones happens in Westeros, home to the Starks and Lannisters, the Wall, and the Iron Throne. But Daenerys' story starts in the eastern continent of Essos, with the Dothraki Sea and Slaver's Bay. We also see Braavos, Pentos, Volantis, Valyria in the show, and Karth. But the world of Game of Thrones is far bigger than we see in the series.
Isn't that beautiful,
the
man?
book describes far distant cities and kingdoms.
Look how fucking cool that looks, man. Dude. There's fucking lava lakes and shit. And I remember right here there's like crazy fuckers living, like bone tribes that eat your bones and shit and have bone armor and stuff.
Cultures, histories, and mysteries. Some of the
There's very
strangest
civilized people
places
living
are
here in the
far
north.
east of Essos, and in the southern continent of Sothorios. Sothorios is full of jungle, ruined cities, and mystery. No one knows how big it is. A dragon rider once
Imagine
spent
a
3
Game of
years
Thrones
flying
MMO,
over
man.
the continent, but she never found its southern border. Said it's a land without end. Colonies on Sothorios have all failed, and treasure hunters don't return, because the jungles are full of disease. Blood boils, sweet rot, wormbone, red death. Archmaester
I don't know, I feel like this world has far more content than Middle-earth, my dude.
says that disease kills half of all Westerosi visitors, and those who
This looks
survive
like
the
Turkey.
sickness are often killed by the wildlife. There are huge crocodiles, carnivorous fish, snakes, and basilisks.
Carnivorous
and apes
fish,
so
ugh.
huge they can kill
And King Kong
elephants
lives
with
there,
one
man.
punch. The only animal that isn't deadly is the purple-eyed lemur, called the Little Valyrian. Further south, in the Green Hell regions, are said to be vampire bats that can
That fucking
drain a man
exists in Game of
blood,
Thrones, man.
and tattooed lizards with claws on their legs, like some kind of dinosaur.
You just triggered chat?
Most
Yeah, that's always Lord of the Rings
terrible
fanboys.
of all are the wyverns, which are similar to dragons,
one of them ate my
but
hand
don't
in the
breathe
game
fire,
yesterday.
they're angrier to make up for it. Some kinds hunt in packs of 100, or use stealthy black scales to sneak crit their prey. And if somehow you survive the wildlife and the disease, there are slavers prowling the coast. And there are the native Sothori, called brindled men. They're hairy, big-boned, massively muscled creatures, with noses like snouts, and thick skin like a hog.
At least Lord of the Rings
white
is
and
finished.
brown.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about it, though.
Men can't reproduce with other humans. The brindled men near the coast have learned to speak the local trade talk, but the men further south are said to be savage cannibals who worship dark gods. It's said that there were once lizard men and eyeless cave dwellers, old races who were destroyed or devoured.
God damn, you can't write so many stories in this,
But
I
the
swear to
greatest
God.
mystery of Sothorios is
Yin, it's so sick. There used to be, he's gonna tell you, there used to be a huge city in Sothorios. A huge civilization. What
Yin is a
happened?
ruined city, older than time, and built from massive blocks of oily black stone.
And that's so interesting. Fuck the Black Stone. The Black Stone is such a big topic in Game of Thrones. Not the fuck TV show. TV show is trash. The Black Stone, Dragonstone. The Tower of Old Town is made out of Black Stone. Black Stone plays such a big role in Game of Thrones. It's everywhere, and nobody knows what the fuck's going on with it, man. What is going on? It's so
trees
fucking
or
sick, man.
vines will touch it. It's a city so evil that
Ashai
not even
is
the
built from
jungle
Blackstone.
will enter. When Princess Nymeria tried to settle some Roina in Yin, the entire population vanished overnight.
Jesus.
So that's Sothorios.
The Wall of Atlantis
Off its
is also made out of
western
it.
coast Are the Basilisk Isles, the festering sore.
Yeah, I read
of
the books,
Summer
yes.
Sea. Hot and humid, the
So
isles
cool, man.
swarm
Fucking,
with
pirates in the
stinging
Caribbean
flies,
and
sand
shit.
fleas, and bloodworms. Old Valyria used an
Psycho,
isle
you
as a
suck a
penal
dick, man.
colony for their worst criminals. In their city of Gogossos, Valyrian torturers devised new torments and practiced blood sorcery, mating beasts to slave women to birth twisted, half-human
What the White
children.
Walkers have went across the sea. The books suggest that every continent had their own White Walkers in a way. They all had their own invasions. Like Essos had their own invasion from the
It's really
east.
crazy how often half-human
Which kind of
children
suggests
are
that in
mentioned
the
books.
far
It's
north,
possible
and
that
there's an
ancient
Antarctica continent that
interspecies
connects with
breeding is
everyone.
what gives the
everyone.
Targaryens their dragon magic, and the Starks their warging powers. It's also possible that some of the twisted monsters on Sothorios might have been created by Valyrian blood magic. There's some weird shit in the books. Anyway, after
It's
the
not magic?
Doom,
No, I'm not. You need
Gogossos
to refresh
grew
your
rich
shit,
and
man.
powerful on slavery and sorcery, until it was wiped out in a plague. Eventually, people returned, and the Isles are now home to pirates in towns with names like Sty, Horsgash, and Black Pudding. They
Black
have
pudding.
some charming local customs, like piling the skulls of their enemies on an island as an offering to some dark god. Occasionally, the free cities come to wipe out the pirates, but the pirates always come back. One time, a captain called Sathos San was sent to destroy the pirates, and he instead became
Like the CIA
a pirate
became
king
their
who
king.
ruled for 30 years.
We got a USA now?
And that
Good.
guy, Sathos San, is an ancestor of Davos' friend, Salador San.
Thank you.
Also, in Book
Thank
5,
you.
Barristan Selmy
Thank you.
trains a boy from the Basilisk Isles called Tomko Lo, and Barristan says he's the best natural swordsman he's seen since Jaime Lannister, which is high praise. One of the Basilisk Isles features an ancient idol of a gigantic toad of malignant aspect.
Yeah, I could watch this all day, man. Thank you, Osterhaps. It's so fucking cool, man. How deep the Game of Thrones story
The
is,
people
man.
of Toad Isle have an unpleasant fish-like aspect to their faces, and many have webbed hands and
What a
feet.
rich world,
so,
man.
like Yin, this is a reference to H.P. Lovecraft, who wrote about strange fishy people worshipping strange
George R.
fishy
Martin loves
gods.
H.P. Lovecraft. He's
These
basing a
black
shit ton of
stone
stuff of him.
structures are scattered all over the World of Thrones, and it's hinted that they were built by a Lovecraftian fish people called the Deep Ones.
Fucking
whose
Naga, man.
descendants apparently still live on Toad Isle. So, in conclusion, the World Book says, the Basilisk Isles are best avoided. Thousands of years ago, in the grasslands of Essos, the first civilizations...
I want to learn. So this is where the Kalasar goes. This is the capital of the Dothraki, at the Mother of the Mountains. And then we have like this fucking... There's this kingdom of wood people. And this is all destroyed, man? Well, the fucking Dothraki are ruling all this shit. Then we have Meereen and Yunkai. This is where Daenerys is chilling all the time. Huh. Bridge of Dream. So cool, man. There's so much in this fucking lore, I swear to God.
began. Legend says that a silver sea was ruled by fisher queens from a floating palace. There were savage, hairy men who rode to battle on unicorns, and a city of Liber, where acolytes of a spider goddess warred against those of a serpent god. It's said that there was a kingdom of centaurs, who might have just actually been mounted warriors. These are all just ancient legends, but we do know there was a kingdom called Sarnor. The Sarnori.
Oh, that's where we're gonna start tomorrow. The fall of Sarnor. This is where we're gonna start tomorrow.